I want to thank you all for braving the weather to be here tonight at our beloved Fitchburg Armory building, the home of the Massachusetts Volunteer Militia. I want to ask you to rise for the presentation of the colors as presented by the Fitchburg Honor Guard of the Fitchburg Police Department, the Fitchburg Fire Department, the Minuteman Company, as directed by Captain John Barrett, who is also our city solicitor. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fitchburg Police Honor Guard, Fire Department, and the Minuteman Company.
Detail. Right. Hey. Right face. Shoulder. Fire lock.
And now the processional of our elected officials. We welcome Congressman Nikki Tsongas, Register of Deeds Kathleen Degnault, the High Sheriff of Worcester County Lou Evangelitis, State Senator Jen Flanagan, State Representative Stephen L. DiNatale, Mayor 2008 to the present Lisa A. Wong, Mayor 2002 to 2008 Dan H. Mylott, Mayor 1998-2002 Mary H. Whitney, Mayor 1988-1998 Jeffrey A. Bean, Mayor 1978-1984 David M. Gilmartin, Mayor 1968-1970 William G. Flynn, City Council President Stephen Hay, and City Council Vice President Marcus DiNatale. City Councilor Jeffrey A. Bean, Paul Boschman, Angelo Bezol, David Clark, Amy Green, Jody M. Joseph, Joel R. Caddy, Michael Kushmerek, Dean A. Tran, School Committee Vice Chair Sally H. Cragen, our school committee, Matthew Brune, Marissa Fleming, Jean LaBelle Pierce, Peter V. Stevens, and Nicholas Carboni. And now, the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now with the national anthem, the Fitchburg High School Band and Chorus, under the direction of Tabitha Greenlees. Please remain standing for the retirement of the colors. We trust it'll be a happy 250th anniversary. Welcome to our sesquicentennial. It was in 1663 Nathaniel Walker of Boston received a grant of 204 acres in Turkey Hills. Everybody's heard of Turkey Hill Middle School? In 1718, 55 years later, Samuel Page was the first settler in Turkey Hills. In 1735, David Page, the first settler in the westerly part of Lunenburg. And in the same year, December 22 of 1735, the first child born in Fitchburg, Priscilla, the daughter of David and Priscilla Page. Our next speaker is a living history in her own right, and we'd like to present to you the mayor of the city of Fitchburg, the Honorable Lisa A. Wong.
What an honor and delight it is to kick off a celebration of Fitchburg's past, present, and future by recognizing the founding of Fitchburg in 1764. To those of you in the audience, including Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas, our state delegation, Steve DiNatale, my fellow colleagues, the honorable mayors, as well as members of the Fitchburg City Council and School Committee, and to you watching at home on Fitchburg Access TV, the #1 community access station, of course, in the state. I invite you all to be part of planning, attending, or supporting the many events and initiatives we have in store for you in 2014, and if you desire, for the next 250 years. Fitchburg has come quite a long way in 250 years. As Doris Kirkpatrick writes in her book, The City and the River, Fitchburg's first half-century as a town was a life and death struggle. By unremitting labor and the exercise of ingenuity, Fitchburgers struggled onto their feet with energy, a tumultuous era in which Fitchburgers tested their strength for survival. The strength of our city has long been linked to our ability to overcome the times, whether it be the dangerous frontier days or the recent Great Recession. The strength of our city has also been linked to the ingenuity of our population, which numbered only 800 when a quarter of the population was sent to fight in the Revolutionary War, to the 40,000 strong today who are working to adapt to the new challenges of globalization and the charges of our community to ensure equity and justice. Now, we've always been the subject to the trade winds of the world, and somehow through adaptation and endurance, Fitchburg has been able to reinvent itself again and again. So today on Founders Day, we acknowledge and embrace that there is a major transition underway, that we stand at the crossroads to either become a bystander and rely on hope or patronage, or whether we will marshal our resources and show resiliency and leadership. If the last few years are any testament, I declare that the city is on a path of resiliency and leadership. Our resiliency is evidenced by the recent recognition of Fitchburg by the Federal Reserve by awarding the city with a Working Cities Challenge grant, the support of a new arts revival downtown with the help of a National Foundation for the Arts grant, the investment of over $100 million by Great Wolf Resorts to help us create a tourism industry, to the uptick in the real estate market, where home prices and home investment is on the rise. And as for leadership, we have no shortage. Tonight, with the help of my fellow mayors, we will be launching 6 major initiatives the city will be focusing on for the next year and the years to come in the areas of youth, arts, small businesses, recreation, education, and neighborhoods. This is not to say that we as a city do not have many other projects on our plate, but rather we have identified these areas as themes to help the city leverage our assets, to take advantage of a rapidly changing economy. So much of our history is steeped in having a diverse and entrepreneurial industrial base, where businesses took the majority of our 250 years to grow, and in several cases disappear altogether. According to the City and the River, during the war years, while the manufacturing of machinery was booming, Fitchburg was a breeding place for inventors. The character of the early pioneer, who did his own forging and found ways to fashion his own farm and mill implements, was deeply ingrained in Fitchburg life. As industrialization gained momentum, the resourcefulness of the frontier found expression in the inventive skill of mechanics, who followed the old tradition of do-it-yourself. Men of inventive genius in other towns were attracted to the banks of the National River, where new mechanical problems waited to be solved. These inventors were not visionary, they were practical, tackling the everyday problems of our work and energy with imagination. Today, the resourcefulness of the frontier spirit is one to be reinvented once again. Our tools today might not be in natural resources or in the mills, but online or in an incubator space, and in the value of our people who have ideas to spare and talents to share. With the new rise of groups like the Fitchburg Plan and Fitchburg First, the city will see business leadership take a renewed role in our revitalization. With youth, like the 2013 Fitchburg High School valedictorian Michael Richards coming back from Harvard College during breaks to give back to the city and help market our city, the city will see a civic-minded generation who will work in jobs and industries that may not exist yet, while finding solutions to age-old problems. I have so much faith in Fitchburg's future, and I welcome you all to collaborate while celebrating, to reach out as we rise up, and to live lives befitting of the version of Doris Kirkpatrick's The City and the River that will be written 250 years from now. Thank you.
And now let's welcome the Honorable Nikki Tsongas, our Congresswoman, to our podium.
Thank you all. It's great to be here with all of you this evening as you celebrate Fitchburg's 250th birthday. I wish we could all live that long. But I am just delighted to celebrate with you the many accomplishments of this great city. You have such a storied history that is so evident in the passion that the residents of this great city bring to their living here. And it's something coming from the Merrimack Valley and the many other gateway cities that I represent that I truly appreciate it, because it is what gives us each strength. And so I consider it my great good fortune to have heard the young people here today as they performed our national anthem, and to be here again to celebrate the promise that you have. And nowhere is that more evident than in the Working Cities Challenge grant that Mayor Wong referenced. That was a highly competitive undertaking. Fitchburg came away with a major portion of the fund that the Federal Reserve had set aside, and I think this prize really does highlight the exceptional work that is taking place here in this city as the mayor and many of you working together to improve the lives of your residents. So I want to congratulate you on that, tell you how proud I am to be your member of Congress, and to give an award, a special certificate of special congressional recognition to the mayor for the city of Fitchburg in honor of your 250th anniversary. Congratulations on your many years of prosperity, your shared vision for the future of this beautiful city, and this certificate honors your past, but also your present and your future. And congratulations.
In 1750, Kimball's built the first dam on the Nashua, 1750. 1764, February 3rd, Fitchburg set off from Lunenburg as a separate township. 1766, the first meeting house was built. And in 1772, The first store opened near Kimball Mill at the corner of Cushing Street. Now let's welcome the Honorable Stephen DiNatale, our State Representative, 3rd Worcester District.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to offer regrets from Senator Flanagan, my colleague in the legislature, who had a prior commitment this evening and couldn't attend, but she sends her certainly her warmest wishes and congratulations. Thank you. I'm honored to bring you greetings from the Commonwealth. In 1764, the attention of the General Court was chiefly directed to the local and internal concerns of the province. The land belonged to His Majesty's province of the Massachusetts Bay. During that session, various acts were passed regulating the fishing in several rivers and incorporating new towns. On February 3rd, 1764, Fitchburg was incorporated into a town. At the time, the population was 250. It was sparsely populated because of the conflict with Indian tribes that would often settle along the Nashua River. Great Britain was subjecting the American colonies to heavy taxation. These acts stirred great discontent among the people of Massachusetts. This controversy between Great Britain and the colonies eventually produced our national independence. The political doctrine and principles then asserted here in Massachusetts laid the foundation of the Revolution. Fitchburg's tranquil development was shattered with a population of 169 who would join the Army. The Massachusetts Constitution of 1780 was written when John Hancock was governor and is the oldest written, still governing constitution in the world. In 1783, Massachusetts was the first state court in the country to abolish slavery. Fitchburg citizens came to locate the town center on the river. This wise decision played the major role in our industrial development. We tapped into our energy sources by creating dams, which would power our mills. More and more factories developed along the river, and we soon became a leading producer of cotton. Fitchburg had the 3rd cotton mill in the entire country. In 1823, Alva Crocker saw Fitchburg's great potential as a water-powered industrial city. Oh, I think I just burnt out the mic. Okay. He knew transportation would be a challenge because of our terrain. However, by 1845, Fitchburg would see the Fitchburg Line, the first rail link to Boston. This remarkable feat would bring Fitchburg 3/4 of a century of economic growth and industrial fame. More and more homesteads and ethnic neighborhoods began to develop. Different industries attracted different ethnic groups. In 1872, Fitchburg received our charter as a city. We would become the 101st city in the country. In 1880, there were 12,400. Mr. Charles Burley patented the Burley rock drill right here in Fitchburg. And Alva Crocker again steps in and advocates for the extension of the railroad to the west by drilling the Housatonic Tunnel. By 1885, with a population of 15,300, we were linked to the vast western markets by direct rail. Fitchburg enters the next century an industrial powerhouse. 1860 to 1920 are considered Fitchburg's golden age of industrial success. We would see 97 passenger trains daily at the depot with immigrant workers destined for the mills. We had a worldwide reputation. Iva Johnson Arms and Cycle Works was the largest manufacturer of small firearms in the world. Textile, paper, and machinery would become our three principal industries. We were a manufacturing city with all the conveniences of a modern city, with hotels and theaters. Fitchburg was the second leading city in Massachusetts, second only to Boston. Many of the mill buildings still stand as witness to Fitchburg's contributions to the growth of this nation. Today, we are here assembled to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the birth of Fitchburg, and we face our future with a knowledge of our history. Today and always, we must praise our great city and rightfully claim a distinction of strength. A quote taken from Eastern City, a book written by Charles O'Connell, included a poem by Caroline Atherton Briggs Mason. It reads, "Nested among her hills she lays, the city of our love. Within her pleasant homes arise, and healthy air and happy skies float peacefully by. So through the round of years advancing on her past, her old-time vigor never sleeps, and even as she sows, she reaps. God bless her to the last." Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And now I'd like to call on the Mayor Wong, please, and Council President Steve Hay. I have citations from the House of Representatives to the City of Fitchburg, the 250th anniversary of Fitchburg's incorporation. Congratulations. Thank you, Council President, Mayor. I also have a citation from Senator Flanagan's office as well. And this, again, congratulating you on your 250th anniversary. Congratulations, Mayor. And no less important, of course, a citation from the Governor, Deval L. Patrick, to the City of Fitchburg on its 250th anniversary. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
In 1805, the first paper mill was built in Fitchburg. In 1805, it was 1823, the first fire engine, called the scissors grinder, was purchased for $100 back in 1823. In 1837, January 17, an anti-slavery convention was hosted in the city of Fitchburg, 1837. And in 1838, the first iron industry started right here in the city of Fitchburg. We're going to ask our following speakers to use the stage microphone, please. And with their decrees, we welcome Mayor William G. Flynn, 1968-1970, with his decree,
proclamation signed by the six mayors present tonight. Whereas, it's going to work for us. Whereas youth are the foundation of society, and the raising of a healthy and educated youth is an important charge for Fitchburg and for any community. And let me move that over there. And whereas Fitchburg overcame many challenges in its 250-year history, including disease such as smallpox in the 1700s, and where it was a young doctor named Thaddeus McCarty, who was the city's only college graduate at the time, who risked his own life contracting smallpox in order to find an effective inoculation. And they didn't have microphones back there either. You know? We all set? No, we're not. Let me use down, back down. We ready? Okay. Okay, and whereas many of Fitchburg's teenagers served as soldiers in the Revolutionary War, including a 16-year-old slave named Eden Ledden, who became free after 3 years of Army service, and the youngest soldier, who was a 14-year-old named Abra Hartwell, as part of a 169 men group who served during a time when the population of Fitchburg was around 800, and Fitchburg still has many brave young and women who serve our country. And whereas the 1800s brought in a new era of industry into Fitchburg, and unfortunately, with it the beginnings of child labor, where young boys and girls composed 45% of the workforce in very unhealthy conditions of the cotton mills in Massachusetts, and who worked 14 hours a day, $2 or $3 a week. And we're including Karen Andrew, the founder of the nonprofit Caring for Kids to address child hunger, and Cole Donovan, who is a national advocate for arthritis research. Whereas Fitchburg wants to continue to work on issues facing youth and to ensure that all children are cared for and that youth have. Therefore, we, the mayors of Fitchburg, by the authority vested in us by the residents of the city of Fitchburg, do hereby proclaim the reestablishment of the Fitchburg Youth Commission, organized on Chapter 3, Article 25 of the Fitchburg City Code, given this 3rd day of February, 2014.
Thank you, William G. Flynn. Now it is 1978, 1984.
Whereas Fitchburg has a long history of truly remarkable artistic and cultural achievement, and our citizens have utilized their talents to mobilize and build the community's enterprises and identity. And whereas, by the middle of the 19th century, many artists, writers, and musicians helped put Fitchburg on the map, such as critically acclaimed poet Carolyn Atherton Mason, whose poem, "Do They Miss Me at Home," which was set to music, became one of the most popular songs of the time. And whereas Fitchburg has critically acclaimed musical organizations like the Fitchburg Brass Band and the Fitchburg Military Band and the Fitchburg High School Band, both popular bands in Massachusetts since 1974, Fitchburg has also been home to the Thayer Symphony Orchestra. And whereas theater thrives in Fitchburg, beginning when Mrs. Helen Stratton and Mrs. Crocker collaborated to create one of the oldest theater groups in the country, known as the Stratton Players. And one of their members, Janet Cragen, has directed over 50 plays since she started working with this group in 1962. And now Fitchburg is home to many theatrical groups, such as the New Players Theater Guild, the Fitchburg Riverfront Children's Theater, and the Fitchburg Theater Company. And whereas Fitchburg is home to one of the premier regional art museums in New England, founded in 1924 by Eleanor Norcross, daughter of Amasa Norcross, Fitchburg's first mayor, a state senator, and a member of the United States House of Representatives. And Eleanor became a pioneering artist who went to New York and then to Paris when she was the first female American to have an exhibition at the Louvre. And whereas cultural festivals have become major attractions, drawing thousands of people annually to Fitchburg to experience events like the Hmong New Year, the Finnish Summer Festival, and the Uruguayan Festival, Civic Days, the Brewers Festival, the Blacksmith Arts Festival, the Greek Week, and many more. And whereas Fitchburg continues to be the forefront of regional culture, earning prestigious grants from organizations like the Massachusetts Cultural Council and the National Endowment for the Arts. Most recently exhibited were Pathways, a public artwork by Gillian Christie, which provides a beautiful stainless steel gateway into the city. And on Main Street, you can discover Nora Valdez's powerful stone carving entitled The Immigrant. And whereas the arts today in Fitchburg are flourishing, with a blooming renaissance of activity of extraordinary museums, galleries, performance spaces, and will serve as a destination for the new tourism industry in Fitchburg, anchored by the development of the Great Wolf Resorts. Now, therefore, we, the mayors of the city of Fitchburg, by the authority vested in us by the residents of Fitchburg, do hereby proclaim the establishment of the Upper Common Cultural District as a major destination and economic engine that will develop into a beautiful, thriving, vibrant, safe, and inspirational downtown to build on existing venues, including the Fitchburg Art Museum, the Boulder Gallery, Rollstone Studios, the Revival Gallery, the Stratton Theater, the New Players Theater Guild Center, the Fitchburg Historical Society, the Fitchburg Public Library, First Parish Church, the Boulder Cafe, the Fay Club, Pride's Building Block Public Artwork, Main Street Art Studio, Consign 639, Flesh by Design, Central Massachusetts Arts and Agricultural Coalition, Top Fun Aviation Toy Museum, the Riverfront Children's Theater, Modern Edge Art Society, the Kiln, Kaibo, Distare, the YMCA, the Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Church, the Greek Festival, and of course, all the plethora and phenomenal cultural offerings of Fitchburg State University. We invite and encourage all the residents of Fitchburg to bring your creative abilities and collaborate with the cultural community to make Fitchburg one of the most livable cities in the United States.
Now let's welcome Mayor Jeffrey A. Bean, who served 1988-1998 with his decree.
Good evening. Good evening. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. A little interaction, that's all. And this is a proclamation. Whereas strong neighborhoods have long been the center of Fitchburg's prosperity, having developed around the city's commercial and manufacturing hubs that produced everything from paper, textiles, to bicycles and steam engines. And whereas, following the growth of the industrial centers in Fitchburg, neighborhoods like Rockville and Crockville developed along the center of major industry. Rockville was located along the Westminster border in an area of Fitchburg that was predominantly used as a quarry, and with long gorges protruding from the land, and Crockville developed around the mills of the Crocker Burbank Company, from the old Hannah Mill to what is now known as Waite's Corner. And whereas immigration has long been the heart of Fitchburg as workers flowed into the city to take up many of the different jobs in mills expanding along the Natural River, thus creating communities like Greektown, the Patch, which is a predominantly Italian neighborhood, and Claygon, which is known historically as a French-Canadian community developed along the Claygon Mills. And whereas many churches sprang up throughout Fitchburg to meet the needs of the individual neighborhoods, to not only cater to religious needs, but to provide education opportunities and to meet the needs of their local neighborhoods. Early churches like St. Bernard's and St. Anthony started as small churches and over time grew to hold thousands of members and construct large cathedral-like facilities. Some churches were transformed to suit the changing surroundings, such as a Methodist church in Crockville, which transformed into the Vietnamese Buddhist monastery, and a former synagogue, which has become a congregational church. And whereas neighborhood revitalization requires the development of marketing to attract investment, increased access to transportation, the promotion of family-friendly atmosphere, creating walkable communities, and the elimination of blight. And whereas neighborhoods revitalization requires the development of marketing to attract investment, increase access to transportation, promotion of family friendliness, creating walkable communities, and elimination of blight. I say that again. Whereas the full benefits of neighborhoods and community development require a joint effort on behalf of public officials and community stakeholders who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And now, therefore, we, the mayors of the city of Fitchburg, by the authority vested in us by the residents of Fitchburg, do hereby proclaim Fitchburg Win, Walkabilities in Neighborhoods, a partnership between Funding Fitchburg and neighborhood residents to create a safe, walkable environment within all the neighborhoods of the city that markets Fitchburg many assets and eliminates blight. Given this third day of February, 2014.
The first number of the Fitchburg Sentinel appeared December 20th of 1838. It was 1845, March 5, the opening of the Fitchburg Railroad from Charlestown to Fitchburg. And in 1851, the fire department was organized. In December of 1853, gas was first used in the city. In 1859, Freetown Library opens. And June 16 of 1863, the first Butterick patterns produced in quantity in the city of Fitchburg. And now let's welcome with his decree, or her decree, Mayor Mary H. Whitney, Mayor, 1998-2002.
Good evening. I have a proclamation. Whereas Fitchburg has long been committed to providing quality outdoor recreational opportunities to residents of all ages in our over 40 parks and green space that have served hundreds of thousands of people a year through passive and recreation activities. Whereas many civic-minded entrepreneurs have committed land to the city for the creation and maintenance of parks, including Coggeshall Park, Stanley Park, Park Hill Park, and Gateway Park, including Fitchburg's two largest and most extensively utilized parks are Coolidge Park, which is the home to many sports leagues, and Coggeshall Park, a 165-acre park donated to the city in 1902 by Henry Coggeshall that continues to serve our community as a park and playground. Over the years, Coggeshall has come to host many exciting road races, musical performances, winter ice skating, nature hikes, and sporting events. And in 2010, Coggeshall Park was named one of the 1,000 great places to visit in Massachusetts out of 13,000 applications received by the Great Places and the Massachusetts Commission. Fitchburg schools have long had a strong relationship tie to the recreational parks such as Crocker Field, which was built in 1918 by the Albert and Charlotte Cocker. Crocker Field has been a home to a variety of outdoor sports and contests for the Fitchburg Public Schools for over 90 years and will host the 100th annual Fitchburg High School relay races in April of 2014. Whereas for over a century, Fitchburg residents have enjoyed the use of the Upper Common and Monument Park as memorial parks that recognize the many heroes that Fitchburg has produced while also providing a reprieve from daily life. Important monuments such as the Civil War Monument, which was unveiled in 1874 with an important bronze figure designed by prominent Boston sculptor Martin Milmore that honored Fitchburg residents who gave their lives during the Civil War. And whereas Fitchburg has been recognized as a Conservation City of the Year since over the past 5 years, the City of Fitchburg has protected approximately 1,700 acres of land as part of a series of watershed protection and federal forest legacy grants that has been added up to the conservation of almost 4,000 acres of open space within Fitchburg. And in 2012, the Massachusetts Department of Conservation and Recreation celebrated 100 years of town forest in the state of Massachusetts as its oldest municipal forest here in the city of Fitchburg. Whereas residents can now proudly enjoy the Nashway River as clean and safe environment after 50 years of continued hard work by people like Marion Stoddard and the Nashway River Watershed Association, who have worked tirelessly to restore and protect the water quality of the Nashway for the enjoyment of fish, wildlife, and the Fitchburg residents. And whereas, through the dedicated service by members of the Recreation Department, Parks Department, the many sports leagues, and many nonprofits in the area, residents have the opportunity to participate in over 50 recreational programs throughout the year, including traditional sports like baseball, hockey, football, and baseball, as well as many other exciting activities such as skateboarding, BMX biking, figure skating, hiking, disc golf, and many others. Whereas Fitchburg has long been a hub of recreational activities, in 1884, Fitchburg was connected to the rest of the state by an extensive array of bicycle and train routes which strongly promoted amateur cycling and clubs promoting the opening of an Ivor and Johnson bicycle manufacturing facility right here in Fitchburg. And whereas Fitchburg is the proud home of the Lonzo Classic cycling race, which has a proud history that stems from over the past 50 years, started in 1960 to commemorate the feats of the Olympian Arthur Lonzo. The Lonzo Classic has grown to incorporate professional cyclists from around the globe. And now, therefore, we, the mayors of the city of Fitchburg, by the authority vested in us by the residents of Fitchburg, do hereby proclaim Fitchburg the regional center for outdoor recreation and tourism that will develop into a fully interconnected destination for outdoor trails, sports, cycling, and the healthy living, given this third day of February 2014.
The Fitchburg Board of Health was established in 1866, and September 23rd of 1869, the police department was organized. Pipes were laid for the new water system in 1871. And August 14, court set in the new Worcester County Courthouse for the first time. That's the Worcester County Courthouse back in 1871. And now with his decree, Mayor Dan H. Mylod, who served 2002 to 2008.
Proclamation. Whereas small business represent one of the remaining strongholds of the American dream, they constitute half the country's workforce and are a stabilizing force in our economy. And the Fitchburg economy has been advanced throughout the past 250 years by many creative and ingenious inventors and a diversity of entrepreneurs that started small businesses in our community. And whereas Fitchburg has a proud history as a source of high quality and innovative products, ranging from bicycles, shoes to paper and medical equipment, small businesses in Fitchburg have a long history of innovation, product design, and service manufacturing. And it is no surprise that even today, Fitchburg has the highest percentage of its workforce in manufacturing, which is twice the percentage of the state of Massachusetts. And whereas entrepreneurs and small businesses are economic engines and the backbone of our local economy, and our businesses not only continue to get national recognition, but are some of the fastest growing in the nation. Micron, a world-class manufacturing business since 1972, and Fitchburg's Resource Management are both recognized as some of the fastest growing industries in the biomedical field and in the Latino community, respectively. CEO Ronaldo Lopez of Resources Management just received Hispanic Magazine's Top 50 USA Business Award. And whereas many Fitchburg entrepreneurs have proudly given back to our community over the years, such as paper making, Rodney Wallace, who donated land and money for a library and art gallery on Main Street that opened in 1885, and whereas leadership programs such as HYPE, Helping Young People Excel, and Fitchburg State University's new entrepreneurial program is creating the necessary supports that students and young leaders need to start businesses in Fitchburg. And whereas important local business groups such as Pride, the Fitchburg Plan, Fitchburg First, and others have generously supported our small businesses, build strong community ties that create long-term investment and foster meaningful relationships. And whereas Fitchburg was recently awarded a Working Cities Challenge grant by the Federal Reserve to promote systems change in the city, by using a collective impact approach to promote small businesses and to create employment opportunities for the poor and the disenfranchised. And now, therefore, we, the mayors of the city of Fitchburg, by the authority vested in us by the residents of Fitchburg, do hereby proclaim the expansion of the Fitchburg Local First campaign to promote, market, and educate the importance of buying local products and support small businesses. We strongly encourage the residents of Fitchburg to visit your local farmers market, stop by the small shop on the corner, and support those individuals who chose to make their living in our community.
Now we want to welcome back our mayor with her decree, Mayor Lisa A. Wong.
Last but not least, but the shortest of all the proclamations. Whereas Fitchburg values comprehensive education system as one of the most important ingredients to a healthy and productive economy, and even in the chilly one-room schoolhouses hundreds of years ago, has always strived to teach beyond the 3 R's of reading, writing, and arithmetic. Our founders knew that investing in education profoundly improves the quality of life, raises people's income, saves lives, and provides numerous opportunities to learn, grow, and succeed. And whereas in 1764, funds were appropriated for Fitchburg's first school, and yes, that is the same year that we are incorporated, and created consensus to make major investments in the building of schools. Fitchburg Academy opened in 1830, and then the first free public high school in Fitchburg opened in 1830, and Fitchburg High School, which was built in 1894 for $200,000, was recently moved to the area of Arnhow Farm Road just over a decade ago. And whereas in 1894, by an act of the Massachusetts legislature, the state normal school opened, and later became the State Teachers College at Fitchburg, then changed its name to the Fitchburg State College in 1965, and finally, in 2010, Governor Deval L. Patrick signed legislation establishing Fitchburg State University, the best state university in the Commonwealth, with graduates who serve in our schools and hospitals, as well as rise in areas such as Wall Street and Hollywood. And whereas Fitchburg Public Schools provides a rigorous academic program, recently achieving some of the fastest growing test scores in the state, and forging innovative partnerships such as an innovation school, and the Honors Academy, and the Honors Compact with Fitchburg State University, and Gear Up, Upward Bound, and talent search programs with Mount Wachusett Community College. And whereas Fitchburg Public Schools expands transformational learning opportunities at all grade levels through expanded learning time, the Advanced Academic Learning Initiative, dual enrollment, and an alternative high school, now Goodrich Academy, that propels student success and cultivates future generations of academic, civic, and community leaders through public art projects, athletics, special events, community service, and business partnerships. And now, therefore, we, the mayors of the city of Fitchburg, by the authority vested in us by the residents of Fitchburg, do hereby proclaim that the Fitchburg Public Schools will be showcasing science, technology, engineering, arts, and math, or STEAM, education, in a technology-rich 21st century learning environment in partnership with higher education and the business community to best prepare students for prosperous careers. And yes, our schools are going to go full steam ahead. And this is given this 3rd day of February, 2014.
The township of Fitchburg became a city March 8th of 1872. The city seal, created in 1873 by former councilman Henry J. Colburn, who patented the first glass bottle making machine. Henry J. gave the following explanation of the seal. He said, "The railroad train, the steam engine, the lathe, the cotton bale, the gear, the plow, anvil, and rake will ever tell the story of Fitchburg's well-established industries upon which her claims to become a city were so thoroughly grounded in 1872. The city seal was cleaned and restored in 1984. The work was done by Nicholas Isaac of Westmoreland, New Hampshire. The Fitchburg Historical Commission raised the funds for this, and the Society contributed the frame. We want to say thank you to Historical Society Executive Director Susan Navarre, and also Dr. Shirley Wagner, Fitchburg State University, retired. And now with his remarks relative to our sesquicentennial time capsule, City Council President Stephen Hay.
Thank you, Ray. Tonight's the beginning of a celebration of our 250th anniversary. As part of this anniversary, we want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a community event, and we want as many people in the city of Fitchburg to participate in this as possible. One way for residents to participate is through the time capsule. The city will be burying a time capsule sometime during the year, and what they would like is for the residents of Fitchburg to come forward individually with their ideas as to what should be placed in that time capsule. What do you, as residents of Fitchburg, want somebody 100, 150, 200 years down the road when they open that time capsule to know about us? To know about us as a city, to know about us as a community, and to know about us as a people. They have applications that'll be here after the event tonight, and you can get them anytime at Fitchburg City Hall. And when people have filled them out, there'll be a committee formed that will take them all and make some decisions as to what will go into that time capsule to let people in the future know who we are, and what we stand for. That's a really important thing. We need to let people know that we are Fitchburg, the city, we are Fitchburg, a community, and that we are a community that works together to help all of the people in the city of Fitchburg. And so if you'd each bring forward your ideas, it would be greatly appreciated, and we'll get them in that time capsule. And just think about somebody opening that up, and your idea could be in there. Thank you.
One suggestion might be a DVD copy of tonight's proceedings on FATV. David Svens, if you're listening. And now the Fitchburg High School Band and Chorus, under the direction of Tabitha Greenlees, will entertain us with Fitchburg, Oh Fitchburg, which was written by Madeline Gaylor for our bicentennial 1964. She wrote the music, and Louis Shepard, professor at Fitchburg State University, professor of English, wrote the lyrics of Fitchburg, Oh Fitchburg. Fitchburg's Board of Trade was organized, the predecessor of the Chamber of Commerce, in 1874. February 6th, the first passenger train passed through the Hoosac Tunnel. February 10th, the Putnam Machine Company cast a 16-ton flywheel for an engine of 340 horsepower, the largest casting ever made in our fair city. February 17, telephone first used in the Fitchburg Telephone Exchange, February 17th of 1880. 1880, March 16, the Fitchburg Steam Engine Company commenced lighting its shop with electricity, March of 1880. Refreshments provided by the Fitchburg Senior Center, available right here in the hall. We want to say a special thanks to the Historical Society, Ryan Gardell, Josh Krebs, Courtney Kewell, Tim Tenney, Samantha Plamondon, Annie DiMartino, thank you very much. The bells pealing at noon today. We want to thank all of the participating churches for the work they've done in getting those bells to ring at high noon as scheduled. Many thanks to sponsors TD Bank, Digital Credit Union, and Unitil. And thank you, all of you, and good night.